Good evening, all of you. I am Ju Arivaresan. I am the host for the today's program. In this special night, I warmly welcome our English literature teacher, Mr. Achan Jogaraja, parents, students, well-wishers, and my dear friends. This is a best opportunity to our literature students to show their English talents. They will critically analyze on poems, prose, fictions, etc. Literature is an ocean, and in this creation, there are many creations. Our students be here to talk about some of them. First, I would like to call Miss Avana to do her presentation on her topic.
Good evening to you all. Today, in this warm evening, I would like to speak on the topic To the Evening Star by William Blake. This poem was written by William Blake in 18th century. He is the romantic poet who lived in the Romantic era. He was born on 28 November 1757 and he died on 20th August 1827. This poem was written at the time period when the economic achieved brightness and but the people got darkness. At the time period, many poets tried to escape from the reality and concert on nature. As the result of this, many romantic poets started to bloom. This poem centers the evening star. Here, the planet Venus is considered as the evening star. The planet Venus is the second planet of our solar system and the sister planet of the Earth and the nearest planet of the Earth. The Roman and Greek mythology people prayed the evening star as goddess who is the symbol of love, fertility, and brightness. This poem starts with the word to, and this is the poem which the poet directly speaking to the Venus. So it can be considered as an ode. This poem has simply 14 lines without any rhyming patterns, so it can be also considered as sonnets. Here, the poet used many poetical techniques to beautify the poem, such as metaphor, allusion, personification, enjambment, and alliteration. This poem is beginning with To the Evening Star. He described the planet Venus as the fair-haired angel, and it can be considered as a metaphor because he described it means describing a thing or a person in a way without like or as. Here, the poet used allusion to as he beautified the goddess as she is the symbol of love, beauty, and fertility. The poet compares the evening star to the fair-haired angel as it has fair hair. It is considered as personification. The poet mainly used metaphor and personification in the poem in many times. We can find enjambment in this third and fourth lines. Thy bright torch of love, thy radiant crown, put on the smile upon our evening bed. It occurs and cut off of the poet before the natural turning point. Uh, um, in the silver dew, the poet makes us monotony, where uh, the evening star bless us with the silver dew of her silver dew. In West Wind and Speak Silence tells the alliteration. Finally, he finished with uh, finally finished with in a real manner. The theme of the poem is um, innocent versus experience. Now we can go into the analysis. He begins with the direct reference to the evening star, as it as he considered the evening star as the angel. Uh, the star was thought as the fair-haired angel who protect the beauty of the nature. The evening star appears in the sky between the time period when the sun disappear in the mountain and get dressed, and the time period when the moon come out. The poet metaphorically compare the star as the mirage which protect the evening world with wearing the radiant crown. The evening bed means the world with many problems. Uh, the speaker asked the star to draw the blue curtains, which mean the which means keep the surrounding and protect the people with her silver dew. He requests to harm the spirit of evil forces and keep the people with the holy water. The star is going to disappear in the sky at the night, so so the harm animals can harm the people and capture the landscape. So he afraid of that. We can get visual imagery here. In the Old English, though is you, thy is your, dost is do, and thine is your. This is one of the nature poem which shows the importance of nature power. And here he used many poetical techniques to beautify the poem, and he simply said the power of the nature. Finally, I would like to say nature can solve any problem in the world. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Abraham, for your presentation. Next, I would like to call Taraka to do her presentation on the topic the eagle.
Good evening to you all. Now I'm going to present about the poem The Eagle. And this poem was written by Alfred Tennyson. He was lived in a Victorian era, which is widely known for the Romanticism movement in the literary culture. And this poem consists of 2 stanzas, each consisting 3 lines. If there are 3 lines in a poem, there is a specific name for that. For that type, we call it as a tessa. And let's see the first line of first stanza. He clasped the crack with a crooked hand. It means clasp means grasping tightly or holding tightly. Crag is mean uneven or oddly shaped rugged rock surface. Broken is oddly shaped and weird hands. The eagle is holding on super to the rock with his crooked hands. The alliteration is used here. The k sound is repeated. Crag, class, crook. The k sound is repeated here, and this means the alliteration. The poet uses the alliteration to show us that it's very hard and it's not so smooth and it's a disastrous bird. And the second is close to the sun in lonely land. Poet used the semicolon to join these independent clauses. So close to the sun in lonely land. No one can go close to the sun. Even the eagle also cannot that. But poet is why the poet says close to the sun? Because eagle has has the ability to see the sun directly, and the eagle is standing in a very top place, so maybe it's because of that, and it doesn't need anyone to accompany him, so that's why he is standing lonely. And the unusual way is to describe a high rock surrounded by the sea. And it suggests the remoteness and height of the place. And it is the poet needs to denote the strength and capacity of the eagle to fly the altitude. And the third line is ring the azure land, azure bird he stands. Ring means the Tennyson contrasts the ring as the cut off the e to emphasize that we should pronounce it in one syllable. And ring the bird he stands. Azure means a deep, bright, and beautiful blue color, which is often associated with the ocean water. And the eagle is surrounded by a blue sky, and the sky makes a ring shape or circle around the eagle, and the sun and the eagle makes a perfect background for the eagle. And now we can count the eagle is standing in the ocean or one of the water bodies. And let's see the second stanza. In the first line of second stanza is the wrinkle sea beneath him crowds. A wrinkle sounds like an older person whose body shows the signs of the old age, advanced age, and this is similar to the skin of the elderly people. But here it's a rolling wave. Wrinkle sea beneath him crowd. If we are far away from an object, we see it smaller than its actual size. So the eagle is stand very far from the sea. So it see the sea as a small and object beneath it. And poet reducing the value and power of the eagle, power of the sea in order to highlight the strength and power of the eagle. And here you can see the assonance also here. Wrinkle E sound, C E sound, and beneath E sound. The E sound is repeated here. This repetition, those E sounds repetition, it's called the assonance. And here also Tennyson is personifying the eagle. So the number of poetic devices are used here. And the next line is, he watches from his mountain walls like a king. Yes, he is a king of the bird world. Like a king, he is watching his kingdom. And eagle has a very powerful and excellent eyesight comparing to ours. So he is not seeing aimlessly. He's focusing on his prey, and he's he's watching the kingdom for consciously. He's watching his kingdom for intention. And the next line is last line, and like a thunderbolt, he falls. Yes, he is of thunderbolt is a most disastrous object created by the nature, and it's really swift in action, quick in movement. So, like a thunderbolt, the eagle falls from the mountain, and it's effortless action, which is depend on the gravitational acceleration. So, the poet is exaggerating the nature, exaggerating the power of the eagle, and he falls like a thunderbolt for catch his prey. Maybe he see fish or prey or something like that. He falls like a thunderbolt and make a very big dive to grab his prey. And inversion also, you can see the inversion also here. He feels like a thunderbolt, the correct formation. But this change in the word order, it means the inversion. And you can see a lot of poetic devices are used here. And the main theme of the poem is power, and the eagle symbolizes the power and strength and capacity, and shows the majesty of the nature. And the eagle's lifestyle suggests an action of a king. And you can understand the nature is a king of the whole world, and it's a very powerful, and the nature can do anything. Thank you for hearing me. Thank you.
Thank you, Taraka, for your marvelous presentation. Next, I would like to call Anne Kanishika to do her presentation on her topic.
Good evening to you all. Today I would like to present The Eagle. First of all, I would like to thank Achuran sir for giving me the wonderful opportunity. Let's get inside the poem. The poem Eagle is written by Tennyson. It's a powerful poem. Also, it just consists of two stanzas. The poem is about a lone eagle perched atop of steep rock in the sea. Eagles are large, powerful birds of prey. They have large hooked beaks and excellent eyesight. They also have powerful talents which help them catch prey. Eagles have built their nests on high cliffs or in tall trees. There are over 16 different types of species of eagle in the world. The poem consists of two stanzas. Each consists of three rhymic lines of iambic pentameter. This type of three rhymic line is called triplet. In the first stanza, the poet describes the bird perched high up on the rock with a sense of admiration. The bird holds tightly to the rock with his iron-like talons and stands still against the gusty wind that sweeps against him. He appears close to the sun against the gusty um, than to the earth due to the majestic height of his position. He is circled by the blue sky. In the second stanza, the poet describes the sea as it appears to the bird. The huge rolling waves of the sea are reduced to wrinkles from that great height. In the last line, the bird falls like a thunderbolt to the sea. Um, uh, I would like to talk the poem about, line by line. He claps the track with crooked hands. The poet tried to humanize the bird using the word he and hands. Even verb claps has a connection of warmth and friendship as when we shake hands with others. However, here it refers to the grip of the bird in his effort to balance himself on the rock, which is exposed to the unrelated blast of wind. Crooked means ugly, deformed, and it creates an unpleasant picture in our mind. The harsh alliteration of CR sound highlighted that aspect. Close to the sun in lonely land. Suddenly, the close-up changes into a long shot like in a film. Now we see the bird against the sky at a superior height. The phrase lonely land seems to suggest the eagle domination of the sky. The, the prominent assurance of the O sound for the sense of loneliness and distance. The alliteration of I sound contribute to the musical quality of the line. With ringed with azure word he stands. The word azure word refers to the sky of the color of ocean blue. The bird is circled or ringed by the blue sky. The passive action of stands, which rhymes with hands and lands, creates an effect of stillness or internal. This is like a still shot in cinema. The wrinkled sea beneath him crawls. The waves of the sea look like wrinkled of cloth or skin from the great height. The rolling of the waves is demolized crawling. The bird crawls also remind us about the reptiles who are eaten by eagles. In addition, the bird wrinkles remind us old person while crawls remind us of a baby. Taken together, it might be suggestive of a life cycle of the human or nature. He watches from his mountain wall. It's not clear what he watches from that great height. The eagle is a bird with a sharp vision and he may be watching some prey far below. The bird also builds up some tension as he prepares him for action. The word mountain wall suggests a sharp incline of the rock and its inaccessibility, and like a thunderbolt, he falls. Finally, the eagle dives off the cliff and sweeps downward in a straight line in a graceful movement. It is an effortless action which depends on the gravitational acceleration. In the word thunderbolt suggests the speed with which a thunderbolt strikes and thus the sweetness of the eagle. Thor is a hammer-wielding god associated with thunder, lightning storms in Norse mythology. And I would like to talk about the themes. The eagle symbolizes the power. The poem shows majesty and power of nature. The eagle lifestyle suggests action of a king or a director. And about the writer, Alfred Lord Tennyson lived during the Victorian era, during 80s. This era widely known for the Romanticism movement in the literary culture. Tennyson was often referred as one of the main representatives of poetry during the Victorian era due to his crowning popularity both during and after his time. And the eagle was inspired by Tennyson's frequent travels to the Pyrenees. He frequently saw eagle, raptors, and other birds of prey circling above him in this area. In the poem, Tennyson opted to create an imaginary settings of cliffs by the sea. Instead of the mountainside, Tennyson is known for his imaginary and transcendental vantage points. Thank you for hearing.
Thank you for your presentation and Kanishika. Next, I would like to call Devian to do his presentation on his topic.
Good evening, everyone. Now I'm going to talk about the drama Twilight of a Crane, which was written by Junji Kinoshita. And the Twilight of a Crane belongs to the modern Japanese dramatic tradition and is a play adapted from the Japanese folk tale by Junji Kinoshita and translated into English by Takeshi Kurahashi. And it's about a woman who's really a crane becomes a wife of a mortal man in gratitude of and love for saving her life. The story is woven around two major characters, Sue and Yohio, and the husband and who are the husband and wife. There are two villainous characters, namely Sodo and Unsu, and there are children who play as a cameo characters to highlight the theme of the play, and they come in some scenes. At the beginning of the play, Yokio is introduced as a humble villager who loves his beloved wife immensely and enjoys his simple life by playing with children and resting near the firewood. So the transformed character into a human form is introduced as a beloved, responsible wife who brings happiness and prosperity to Yokio's life. And they live a contented life in association with the children who symbolically represent innocence. And their simple life turns into twilight due to the two vulgar friends of Yokio, namely Sodo and Unsu. And they come to know about the valuable cloth woven by Su, which gives bread and wine to their family. The special cloth is called by the villagers as Senba Ori, which means it comes from the heaven, and it is made by plucking 1,000 feathers from a living crane. The two money-minded friends identify the high commercial value of it and intend to exploit this opportunity to flourish themselves. And they decide to entice Yokio towards earning profits by selling Senbaori and lead a luxury life luxury. And they intend to give only a little portion of the real price of the cloth. Uh, like the real price is about $1,000, and they give only 100 or 150 dollars like that. And after hearing this, Sue thoroughly protests this, knowing what money can do to their simple, loving lifestyle. And she takes efforts to protect her husband from the bad influence of his vulgar friends, Soru and Unsu. She explains that weaving more clothes would affect her health and reduce her body weight. Yokio, who is blinded by the unseen sparkle of money, becomes furious and threatens her to that he's going to leave her alone. And he further insults her by calling her a cross woman. And Sue becomes worried and tells her husband not to be so unkind to her. And she doesn't, she have no idea about this money or these things. She only believe in true feelings like love. And however, she decides to weave two more clothes to satisfy him. During the process, Yokio breaks the promise of looking her in her real form uh, of the crane when weaving. Therefore, she fails to stay further in human form, as well as she has only few feathers to fly back to the nature. She insists him keep one cloth as a token of her love and a symbol of her memory. And ignorant Yokio dreams a new life in Tokyo with her not knowing that he had broken her heart and lost her only love forever. The play ends with the tragic mood of Sue leaving her heartbroken husband. And let's look at the main theme of this poem, which is money versus love. Love is the driving force of the world. Hence, it has become the theme of several arts and crafts, including poems, paintings, films, dramas, and short stories. In Japanese drama Twilight of the Crane, the playwright Junji Kinoshita brings out the same phenomenon. This drama is based on the Japanese folklore, which is called as Yuzuru. And crane is considered as the symbol of happiness, longevity, and prosperity and peace in Japan. Kinoshita is tactful enough to bring out the adverse effect of capitalism in his drama as well. And this drama is set in a remote and a rural area in the midst of snow blanketed field. Uh, Sue and Yokio built their nest and led a harmonious life. The love of this couple depicted throughout their conversation. Sue is a bewitched hen crane who lives in a shape of a woman and who disguises her as a woman. And innocence and simplicity is depicted in her personality, in her whole character. And she used to play with children all day, and the adults who are popular among the children could be taken as kind-hearted people. And Su Yan, let us play. Children use Su Yan to call Su. In Japan, this suffix is used to show the intimacy between the addresser and the addressee. And Yohio is also a modest character. When Su was not there at home, he came out to play with the children, but at the same time, he returned home with warm to warm the soup for Su. And cold soup is no good for my sweetheart. This statement clearly depicts the affection, care, and Yohio towards his wife, and he treated in a warm, loving manner to Su. His kind heartedness is revealed as he rescued the life of an injured crane. And Su always loves her husband in the bottom of her heart, and she is uncorrupted woman whose heart is filled with pure love and affection. She loves to the whole world, and her little world is fabricated around her husband Yokio. She expects to live her whole life with Yokio uh, by working on the field and playing with children. The whole harmonious situation has been uprooted with the arrival of Sodu and Unzu, who are the villainous character here. And they were able to convert Yokio into a money-minded and a corrupted character. In front of money, love decays slowly. Hence, Yokio threatened Su to weave another piece of Senbaori in irrespective of the pledge unless uh, he threatens her to worry, to leave her. And this worries Su. And love depends on the faithlessness and the trustworthiness. When Yokio broke the pledge and threatened, Sue leaves her. Her heart was broken, and the peace and harmony fled from the back door when money enters in the front door. And finally, Sue decides to leave Yokio forever as her secret is revealed and the pledge between them has been broken. Yokio's money-mindedness brought him the destruction at the end. So he got Senbaori, he lost the most valuable asset of his life. And this theme clearly and perfectly connects with the plot of this play. And let's look at the characterization of the characters. Let's look at Sue. Sue's real form is Crane, and she got shot by an cruel archer by an arrow and saved by Yokio. And so that she fell in love with Yokio, and uh, she became the wife of him. And she disguises her as a woman uh, because she was very affectionate on Yokio, and she weaves Senbaori by using her own feathers, which means which cloth means it comes from the heaven, and she is a Sue is a symbol of pure innocence, fidelity, and goodness. She is a loyal and lovable wife to Yokio, and thank you, my dear. Now I'll make supper for you. I wish I could, but I have to prepare supper. This shows the devotion, love, consciousness, and her role as a wife. And conversation between them throughout this play reveals the care and love. Sometimes her real form is visible by her actions. Uh, for example, her tongue slips while speaking shows her identity. And I'd like to live with you in this small house peacefully and quietly without being troubled by anyone. She only knows true human qualities like love, passion, devotion, affection, and etc. Furthermore, she also refers materialistic world without this type of true human qualities in this line. And she doesn't want Yokio to be with the malicious, vulgar friends like Sodo and Unzu. She seems to be worried about Yokio turning into a money-minded one. Buy, what's buy? What's nice things? What do you want beside me? This line is the reply from the for the Yokio's utterance of admiring earning money shows this shows that Sue have no idea about earning or using money. She is extremely worried about the drastical change of the extreme desire of Yokio in earning money, which seems like he loves more money than Sue. And Sue belongs to the natural world. As her real form is crane, it's obvious that she belongs to the natural world. And Sue demonstrates her extreme goodness in her personality throughout the play. Later on, she weeps and gives Senbaori to Yokio, and she states that she doesn't want the money, but she wants Yokio to come back again. This is